We've received a lot of questions about whether it really is feasible to run Tier 1 applications off an object store using LucidLink as a file space. And so I thought we would demonstrate that. In order to demonstrate a Tier 1 application, we decided to use booting a virtual machine over the internet. We figured that's a high I/O intensive requirement for an application, and the way we set it up is this. We've got a Hyper-V server physically located in Hetzner, a data center in Nuremberg, Germany. Within that Hyper-V server, we have a virtual machine that's configured. The virtual machine OS is in a LucidLink file space that is located about 100 miles, a little less than 100 miles, I think it's 140 some kilometers away in Frankfurt in AWS, where we created the LucidLink file space. So we have the OS drive over here, and we also have a data volume over here. So what we're going to do is just simply remote desktop into the Hetzner data center, and we'll boot this. I'll show you around within there, and then we'll boot this using the drive that's located 140 kilometers away in S3. Here's our remote desktop. Set that up. We can log into that right here. And first thing I'll show you is that we are connected. This is in Hetzner, in the Hetzner data center, but we are connected to our LucidLink file space, which is located in S3 in the region Frankfurt. There's about 12 to 14 milliseconds of latency and 143 kilometers away. All right, so now we'll show you how we've actually configured our LucidLink file space, set it up as the L drive. So we mounted this as the L drive, and within the L drive we have two virtual drives. The first one is our OS drive. This is the virtual machine image. It's 133 gigs, and then we have a large, about a 64 gig data volume that's filled with PDF ebooks. So altogether we have about 200 gigabytes located in the LucidLink file space 143 kilometers away from where this physical server is. Okay, and here we have the virtual machine, VM boot. And if we take a look at the settings of this machine, you can see the operating system hard drive here, which is on L drive, which I just showed you. And then we also have a data drive configured, which is also on L drive, and that's the ebooks drive. All right. So I have the task manager open where we can watch Ethernet. And what I want you to watch are I'll point this out a couple of times, the amount of traffic going over the Ethernet. Not just coming down. We expect that, of course, as we're booting something. But we're actually going to be using this as a true read-write file system. So as we boot this, you're going to be seeing traffic going up as well, because that's the way it would interact normally with a file system. Naturally, we're not going to pull down the entire 200 gigs. We'll watch this. Instead, we'll synchronize the metadata from those volumes, and most of the I/O, the requests to the metadata can happen locally now. So we remove a lot of the traffic that is affected by the latency, and instead now we can just really efficiently stream the data volume. And we do multiple TCP streams, inline compression, we're prefetching and caching. So we're doing all that right now, and you can see we're pulling down quite a bit, megabytes per second, megabits per second, as well as we're sending things up as we draw page files and things like that as we're booting this virtual machine. So we're in just about a minute here, and you can see that we're already getting to the login screen. So from 100 and some 143 kilometers away, that's not too bad in and of itself. Let's log into this machine now, and you'll still see now as we're finishing up. Oh, let me type the password. And as we finish, opening up, installing services and whatnot, we'll see the icons appear here, and as we do so, this will settle down now. Now clearly we have not downloaded 133 gigs, so we're using this over the wire as an extension of the disk drive, essentially. So this is settled down now. I'm going to open File Explorer, and we can see our ebooks mounted as a drive. If we open that up, once again we'll start to pull down a little bit here as we synchronize some of the metadata for that. And as I open this is the largest one, 220 megs. As I open that up in Reader, Reader's going to cache the first couple of pages. So we'll see once again a tick up in the Ethernet traffic as we're starting to pull that down again. And then that will settle down as these first couple of pages get cached in. And there, we were back down to kilobytes per second. So now, this is not, of course, the whole ebook that we've pulled down. Now, as we start to scroll through this, you can see then this pops back up again. So we are streaming in real time as the application is requesting parts of the file. We're delivering the file, but we're giving you this local user experience as if the entire data is local when we're pulling it down in real time from just about 100 miles away, 143 kilometers away. All right, so we'll go ahead and close this, and I'm going to shut this machine down. And as I mentioned to you, we do things like prefetching and caching. The things that we've already pulled down are now in cache on this machine, on the server. So I'm going to boot this again, and this time we're going to expect to see far less data, as we'll be able to boot some of this from cache. Now the single source of truth is still in AWS or in the LucidLink file space. So that's still there. However, the relevant cache it's distributed across, and so we have a bunch of it that's here. So we will be pulling down far less data in this stream. Now let's boot this up, and we'll also notice, of course, since we're booting out of the local cache, it's going to be much faster. And there that took about 6 seconds. So let's go ahead and log in again. And once again, we'll open up our data volume. And again, we're very little traffic that's been happening throughout this entire process. But now we'll open up a different book. Now this is data that we haven't touched yet. So as we open up this book, we'll notice another spike in traffic on the Ethernet downloading. So now again we're streaming because this is new data, and again when we scroll through here we'll see spikes. It'll settle down once we've done some of the prefetching and pulled that into cache, and again we have a local experience even though the data is residing that far away. All right, so let's close this again. There's one other thing I'd like to show you, and we'll shut down this the virtual machine. And Now I'm going to show you the cache file itself. So here's the cache file that's in the Hyper-V server within the Lucid file space. Now, it's showing 0 right now because we still are utilizing that with the system. So I'm going to turn the cache setting off here, and once I do, that will release the cache store, and we'll be able to see that over the process of this, booting the machine twice and opening up 2 very large ebooks, we actually transferred only 7 gigs out of that 200 gigs. Now this means this is local. We can keep so we can have 200 gigs worth of a server that's readily available in hot cache and only be utilizing 7 gigs locally. Now, again, we're not suggesting that this is our killer use case. This is just a convenient way to demonstrate how efficient and the performance of using a LucidLink file space for a Tier 1 application. Thank you.